engines pumping and thumping in time. The green light flashes, the flags go up. Churning and burning, they yearn for the cup. They deftly maneuver and muscle for rank. You burning fast on an empty tank. Reckless and wild.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Commissioner's Weekly Recap Show. This is part one of the week where we get into the recaps, where we find out what is going on, what has happened last week, and what will be happening. Well, maybe not this week, but you get the picture. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming back to the show. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Thank you for watching on Facebook, whatever it may be. We're going the distance, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be the title of the show today. She's all alone. I'm not all alone. Maybe in second place, which is where you want to be. And I think later in the show, my analytics I have provided today will prove to you that I just might be the hands down juggernaut to beat this year. Before I get ahead of myself, if I can get a round of applause for my first co-host tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You heard that right. This is a 3 co-host show. Vice Fantasy. Yep. Andrew Gennard, ladies and gentlemen. Vice Fantasy of Fantasy Football Operations. Vice Fantasy, Andrew Gennard. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Clay. Good to see you.
Hey, Andrew. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us, dude. Congratulations on your new job title.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Fantasy. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the next person I would like to introduce, they go by he/him pronouns, would be the Players Union Association Union Representative President Joe Lozier. Joe, he, him, welcome to the stage. Look at the live audience. They love it. They love it. Look at the finger. Get the fingy.
Thanks for having me, Clyde.
Hey, you're welcome, man. And of course, I said I had 2 co-hosts today. Realistically, I have 3 co-hosts. Unofficial sponsor, Fireball. For the one, the true, the always on fire, kiss the devil, Fireball.
Oh. Know that we're just gonna. All right.
I guess Andrew didn't get the memo that we start every single show with a shot of Fireball. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, starting off another great show the right way. Boys, what an exciting week 9 of fantasy football. There were some outcomes that were maybe to be expected, and some that I did not expect, and some that were very close that I think everybody was rooting for to come through. Any disagreements there, guys?
Yeah, I lost.
Same.
Oh, okay, well that's not disagreements. That's just factual statements. Action Jackson's 2-6, 7th place going into this matchup against the Boner Pills. 4-4, 5th place heading in this. This is a make or break for Jonathan, make or break for Kumar. I think I stated that last week as well. Jonathan ended up winning this one, 146.58 to 102.66. Good win, John. Good win. Action Jackson, you had 0 20-point scores. You did have 4 above the 15, but 0 20-point scores, that's a rough week. That's a very mediocre week. I think everybody would agree with that here. 4 players below the dreaded 10 shoulder. Both the starting wide receivers, Scary Terry and Gabe Davis. The flex, which was Deontay Foreman, and the kicker. I failed to provide the scores next to him, but I promise you they're under 10 points. Mahendra, you are practically 1 loss away from being eliminated from playoff contention, which we can talk about very shortly in this episode. And I think I'm very generous with that. I think it might be safe to say you might be eliminated unless you go on a hell of a run. Boys?
Agreed.
Agreed? So, Boner Pills. Boys, hold on to your seat. If you're wearing briefs or boxers, you might want to take them off because they're about to get moist. 150-point score. I repeat, 50-point score, almost a 60-point score. Joe Mixon, who didn't play a whole half of football. RIP to the Bengals wide receivers, though. They were not the beneficiary of Joe Mixon's big day. 58.93, I will repeat it again because it's just that good. One 20-point scorer, that's Josh Allen, who I loved his quote after the Jets game where he said, "You're not going to win many games in this football league when your quarterback's playing like shit." So he owns up to it. He respects it. It's a beautiful statement. Any other thoughts on the game right now?
No.
Is Joe Mixon getting almost 60 points? Is that a surprise after the season Joe Mixon has started off with?
Yes.
Yes, but I mean, yes. I could elaborate, but there's more. Just go ahead, please.
Gotcha. 3 players below the dreaded 10-shoulder. Running back 2, Devin Singletary, got you 7. Tight end 1, Dawson Knox. You're really missing Dallas out now, I bet. I didn't even put his score. I just wanted to get that joke in there. And also your flex, Chase Claypool, who, guys, I do not recommend starting people after they get traded. I know it might have paid off in Daniel's case, which we might get to later, but it normally does not. They need a week to acclimate. They at least maybe need 2 weeks to acclimate, sometimes longer. If you are Russell Westbrook brained IQ'd, you might need a couple more than like 3 or 4 weeks.
Especially if you're getting traded to a team with a running back for a quarterback.
I don't know. You have some issue, and we're going to have to deep dive to this one day. I'm going to do a Clay Commissioner special on why Joe hates running quarterbacks.
Ooh.
Absolutely hates them. Can't stand them. Although they're especially when quarterbacks are running back. Joe was one of the first people to hop on the Lamar Jackson's just a running back trend, and he was one of the first with the Jalen Hurts trend. So let the record reflect that.
I love trolling you for the Lamar one.
He's big mad.
I do not hate running backs for quarterbacks, but
you always talk about them. Do you want to marry them? Moving on, John keeps playoff hopes alive with a win and also wins the season series. He sweeps Kumar this year, Mahendra, 2-0 record. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting to that point where these are the last matchups. I failed to mention that last week, but these are the last matchups for a lot of people who are going to have to go into the series. There's, of course, some people that will have to play an opponent for a third time. Andrew, me and you are one of them. Yep. Joe, I think, unfortunately, you're going against John.
Bring it on.
Beautiful. I predicted Mahendra to win this one. I was wrong. Joe, you took John. You were right. You are 1-0. Next matchup, Andrew, we have the Hillier Holes, 5-3, third place going into this, going against Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. 3-5 in sixth place. He ended up winning this game 139-65 to 123-23. Andrew, good fight, wasn't enough. He had 2 20-point scores. Running back 1, Austin Eckler, 21.7, and wide receiver 1, Tyreek Hill, got you 26. Honorable mention to Joe Burrow, who got you 19.37. He was a mage factor last week. So listen to the mage factor, boys. They pay off. I tell you. You had 3 players below the dreaded 10-shoulder. Wide receiver 2, Pittman at 4. Tight end 1 at Hurst, 6. You want Goddard, dude? That'll take your team to the next level, bro.
To
the next level. Yeah, keep starting a 4-point tight end. Keep telling yourself that, Andrew. I'll be here when you change your mind. Kicker Will Lutz got you. That was a disappointment because you had to come back on a Monday night game with a kicker, and he only put up that score. One thought to start for Andrew was Curtis Samuel, who ended up giving you 17, and I specifically said over Tyler Lockett, who got you 15.2. Would it have made a difference in this matchup? I think not. Statistically, it does not. But I like to say I told you so.
Thanks, Clay.
Welcome, Andrew. Tuna came back to win this one. He was down going into Sunday night, 101 to 116. So it was actually a pretty big comeback on his part. Tuna, 2 30-point scores. Patrick Mahomes at 39. And Devontae Adams at 34. If only he played 2 halves of football, Devontae Adams might have had 68 points. 1 20-point score in Justin Jefferson as well. 4 players below the dreaded 10-shoulder. Running back 1 and running back 2, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon was a mage factor, but I said you need to sit him. You might win a game if you sit him. You win a game starting him, so bravo. Robert Tonyan got you 4 points. You want Goddard? Call me. Ewan McPherson, 6 points. Kicker, Cincinnati Bengals. Tuna may not make the playoffs, but you won the yearly head-to-head matchup this year going 2-0 against Andrew. Goddamn Willie Nelson, huh, Andrew?
Yeah, that one hurts now, looking back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Great
Yeah.
concert.
Well, that's good. That's good. Old Willie is a survivor. I tell you what, unlike Andrew. Oh, no, that was good. I should have said him. That's
In there.
I didn't hear what you said because I interrupted. I apologize.
the reoccurring joke. Dickie D, yeah, baby! Tillamook's 5 in 6th place this season, so he's technically a game behind out of the 3rd seed. Andrew falls to 5 and 3 while maintaining 3rd place. So good luck on the loss, Andrew. Didn't really hurt you, but once again, you're just kind of treading the water. You're treading water, bro. You're not swimming. You're not drowning.
Hey, had a heavy bye week. I'm back, ready to go.
Is that why you're on a 2-game losing streak?
Yes.
Fair. Clay, I had Andrew in this game. I was wrong. Thanks, Andrew. Joe had Tuna, my dyslexic ass. Joe had Tuna, so you are 2-0. I am 0-2. Joe, congratulations. You are the Swami of predictions of fantasy football so far. We'll see if that pays off for you.
Unfortunately.
Boys, with that being said, we're halfway through the recap, so let's do a little shot here because we have the 4:30 game on tap to review. Oh man, that's smooth like silk. Dirty Randy's 2 and 6 in 8th place, going against Amon the Chase for the Hurts. 5 and 3 going into this, running a 3-game winning streak, currently in 2nd place. I won 159.61 to 114.08. It was the highest score of the week. I would have beat everybody. So, pat on the back. Thanks, Joe.
Amazing.
Thanks, Mason. Dirty Randy's 130-point score. That's New England defense. Oh my God, I could not believe my eyes watching the defense score and sack a Sam Elder. I think it was a whole of 9 times. Disgusting.
It was so bad the Colts hired a retired center to coach their team afterwards.
I know. I was just talking to Mason about that. No experience, no nothing. That's incredible.
Nothing.
What happened to
the
Rooney Rule? Don't we have to?
No, hold on. But that's not.
Don't we have to interview a minority here?
That's not true though, because Jeff Saturday has 3 playoff appearances in 3 straight seasons with the high school football team in Georgia.
His record was barely above 500, bro. Do you understand that a lot of high school teams make a playoff tournament? Just because you're in the playoffs doesn't mean shit. It's what they call states and championships.
Playoffs.
High school.
He makes the playoffs.
High school.
Yeah, you're right.
He makes the playoffs.
Yeah, thank you. Professionals going against high school players.
I'm
that's
just
not
saying,
even
you say he
practice.
doesn't have
That's a
experience.
massacre.
Get
Get out of here. Okay, we're moving on here. Andrew, reel him back in, please. I'm going to continue reading the
That's
stats.
the longest yard concept.
You done, Joe?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your rant on high school football. We all appreciate that here on a fantasy football professional show. 5 players under the 10 shawl for Mason this game. Running back 2, Kamara at 8. Wide receiver 1, Higgins at 9.5. Tyler Higbee at a big fat 0.0. You want Dallas Goedert? Mike Evans 6.5, and Young Who at 5. As cute as the other side of the pillow.
That's my top score.
Oh, that was good. Again, that was a good one.
Thank you, sir. With that being said, let me get to these next facts here before I lose my coup. Mason's main factors in this game were his running backs, which combined failed to score close to Derrick Henry, 6.15 points. My Derrick Henry Had 6.15 more points than his two running backs, Cook and Kamara. 1 and 2 round selections. Clay's mage factors going into this, before I read off my factors, my stats and stuff, was the KC and Tennessee game. Combined, I had 3 players. They put up 59.78 points, ladies and gentlemen. That's why it's a mage factor. Watch this show for advice. Clay, 130-point score. Kenneth Walker, the third, 31 points. 120-point score, which was Derrick Henry at 28. However, I get it, not a lot of 20-point scores. I only had 2 players below the dreaded 10 and that was wide receiver Amon St. Brown, the god of Raw, 7.5, and Daniel Carlson, my kicker, got me 8 points. The next lowest score was 13.8, so all around solid performance by your commissioner, guys. Beautiful textbook fantasy football here. Clay sweeps the season series between Mason and snaps his 2-game win streak in the process for Mason. I am on a 4-game win streak now, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot be stopped. I am the golden god. It's my year. Mason slides to 2-7 in 8th place in the league, and Clay advances to 6-3, sole possession of second place, man, and continues his 4-game winning streak, as I stated previously. In this game, Clay had Mason, so I'm off to an 0-3 start in predictions, and Joe had Clay. Joe, 3-0.
Not bad.
Thanks,
Once
Andy.
again, we'll do another shot right before we get to America's fantasy football game of the century of the week game. Joe.
Oh, I'll take a shot to this.
Yep, this shot's for you, boy. Buckle up.
I'll give a finger down to that.
Yeah, nice. I like that. We have to do a thumbnail of that. That's pretty good. Allergic to playoffs, 5-3. 4th place going into this. To Fantasy Messiah, who was 6-2. 1st place going into this. Lost 126-29 to 122-46. Heartbreaking loss. Joe, you were almost there. You did some savvy moves. I thought you might have got there. If you would have did a trade for Dallas Goedert, you would have won this. If you didn't listen to your best friend Clay on fantasy football advice, you also would have won too. So I apologize about that.
Can we just get hold on, real quick, if I may? I appreciate it. The total was what?
126-29 to 122-46.
And I texted my Swami, as he claims, as I thought he.
I never claimed that. He titled me that. I never claimed myself.
Texted him at 12:50, and was like, "Yo, Clay, I'm in a pinch." In much smaller words, I'm in a pinch. I need advice. Should I start DeAndre Swift? I almost just said Patrick.
Or Cardell Patterson.
I almost just said Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson got. He's got a week ahead of him this weekend.
Look, so the point
he said, "Oh, I'd go DeAndre Swift." Well, if I would have played Cordell Patterson, I would have won by 7. I didn't. I took his advice, and I would do it again next week too.
You know why, Joe? Because I think you're a bigger threat than Daniel in the fantasy championships this year. In the fantasy championship game, I think you're going to get to the fantasy championship game this year. So that's why I need you at a lower seed. So I got you in the first round. Because you can beat Daniel. You can do it, buddy. I can guarantee you. I'm setting you up for success and failure championship game. But I'm doing this for us, bro. I got it. We got it. Thanks, man.
12-point swing. Would have won it.
Producer on set today.
But that's what happens. That's the name of the game. It's all fantasy.
Right.
It's all fantasy. That's why I'm allergic to playoffs.
Right. Daniel sweeps the season series against Joe, 2-0. Joe, you will not have another chance to defeat Daniel unless you make it to the playoffs and defeat him, like the fates have aligned, or you see him next year. Joe, 130-point score. Travis Etienne, heck of a pickup for you, really paying off late in the year. He's going to be good down the playoff stretch for you. No one else above 18.5. 4 players below the dreaded 10, Joe. Tyler Boyd, wide receiver 1 for you. 7 points. You really saved me there. You saved me. Thank you for that.
Wow.
Tight end. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
While you're going through my fantasy team, my points, continue, please.
What was that?
Yeah, thank you. What was that? Were you trying to get me to lighten up?
He doesn't even know.
Yeah, okay, Joe. Joe just had a glitch. He's not a lizard person, ladies and gentlemen. That was I've never seen a human being glitch before. You just glitched.
Can you not hear it?
No. Is this My Heart Will Go On from Titanic?
Yeah.
Nobody can hear it. I hear it glisten. You got to play it on the recorder. You want a recorder version of that song right now. You're ruining my show. You biffed it, bro.
I just ruined your show. I apologize. Please continue.
You really did.
Tyler Boyd, your wide receiver 1. Thanks for saving me from that. I appreciate you. My heart will go on. 7 points. Tight end, Isaiah Likely, replacement for Mark Andrews. I'll give him a break. He had 8.9. That was a good pickup. I thought he was going to get you a little bit more. Flex was DeAndre Swift. I had in parentheses, my bad. And Jason Myers, the kicker from Seattle, got you 8. Daniel, 120-point scorer. You need a 120-point scorer to be Joe. Face me in the championship, bro. You're a fraud, dude. Keep that number 1 rank. It matters nothing. Keep posting these weak-ass scores. Trash-ass team, bro. Comes around, goes around. Honorable mention to Kyler Murray. He is 0-2 since Call of Duty came out, but he almost got you 20 points. So, pretty bad for the Cardinals. 3 players below the dreaded 10 shoulder. That's running back 1, Raheem Mostert, 9 points. Lenny, negative 4-yard run net, 8.98 points. And Flex Godwin at 7.23. Daniel takes the season series against Joe for 2022, going 2-0. I think I put that in there twice. I just want motivation for the playoffs, Joe. I want you to hear that going into the playoffs. Joe falls in the ACC race to 5-4, 4th place. Daniel now has a 2-game lead at 7-2 in 1st place. So, Joe, your pathway to the playoffs may not be the division. It might be a wild card.
I'm allergic to them anyways.
I know. Maybe if you would change it, you might not be. That leaves us at predictions. I had Joe in this. I was wrong. Joe had Joe in this. He was wrong. I go 0-4 on the week, and Joe goes 3-1. Applause there. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the time of the year going the distance. We are reluctantly crouched at the starting line. Our players are positioned and started in time. 1 o'clock hits. The players go up. And you know what time it is? It's the playoffs. This is the new segment. Joe, what's the name of this segment?
That was incredible. You're amazing. You are amazing.
What's the name of the segment we're going to, Joe?
If the playoffs started today, which they don't. This would be the playoffs.
Outstanding, Joe. New crew, new technology, and I have more stacks and in-depth analysis than ever before, ladies and gentlemen. Ever before. Going into this Fantasy Messiah, 7-2, 1st place. If the playoffs started today,
which they don't,
he would be the number 1 seed. Home field advantage and all of it. But you break down, this is why you come to the show, for the analysis. You break this down. So in the breakdown category of the standings, he's currently number 2 at a 40-23 record. And the breakdown, to educate you people, is the win-loss if each team faced all teams per that week. Okay? So I had the highest record this week. I would have beat everybody else. I would have been 7-0 this week. Last week, I had the 3rd highest score. I would have been 5-2 against everybody. Next statistical category, we have the coach. which I'm not too sure about this. He ranks number 3. It determines the differential in points between the starting lineup and the ideal starting lineup. So how many points you left on the bench. He's number 3 in this category. He's also number 2 in the true category, which adds up the record, points for, the breakdown rating, which I just mentioned earlier, and the coach rating. He's sitting at a 28 true score. So, who could be at number 1? Fantastic. I'm glad you asked, ladies and gentlemen. Second place, if the playoffs started today,
Which they don't.
would be I'm on the chase for the Hertz. Every year, I drive, I strive. There's no flashes, no trophies, no light bulbs, no lines for me. But I get there every year, and one year I'll finally get it, and I'm going to prove to you why this is the year right now. I am 6-3, sole possession of second place. I am number 1 in the breakdown. If I went against my record every week, I would be 45-18. I'm number 2 in the coach standings. I am number 1 in the true score at 30.
What more do you need? Give him the belt.
And just to prove to you, this true score, I think, is the biggest one. Me and Daniel are at 30. He's at 28. Tied for third place is Joe and Jonathan at 21. So that shows you the differential. Okay, that kind of puts you where the top teams are. Third place in the standings, if the playoffs started today,
Which they don't.
Andrew, feel free to get in on that, would be Andrew Hillier-Hole, 5-4, currently in third place. However, we go to the analytics. Analytics. He is number 4 in breakdown with a 35-28 record. A number 5 in the coach. A lot of points left on the bench there, Andrew. And number 3 and he's tied for number 3 with John for true score at 21 points. Solid numbers, Andrew.
Hell
you
yeah.
gotta be careful. There's a lot of. I think Joe's going to catch up. I think Joe's going to make a push. I think eventually I'll take the 1 seed. Joe will probably finish in the 2 or 3 seed, and Andrew will be the 4th. I think if you're going to have to go Commish predicts. But we're not there yet. I'm getting ahead of myself, getting ahead of my Jimmies here. The last and final, Joe.
Can you correct something for me? Thank you. I was under the impression that you said that John and I were tied for third with 21 real points, but then you said that Andrew was.
I misspoke. Andrew was tied with John.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Cool. Thanks for the clarification. Good job, Andrew.
So I'm sorry, Joe. That's not good news for you. It's good news for Andrew. So we'll do a cheers to that. The last team, the number 4 seed, if the playoffs started today.
Which they don't.
That was beautiful. That was fucking magic. I love you guys. Good shit. Joe, 5-4, currently in 4th place. Looking at the analytics, number 5 in breakdown, 34-29. So you're actually now week by week. You're not getting the highest score clearly, but you're right in the middle of the pack. That's what that stat tells me. Number 6 in the coach score, even more points on the bench than Andrew. And number 5 in true score. Technically you're 4th, but there's a tie for 3rd. So, it jumps them. So you have 18. That's a whole 12 points away from me in true, a whole 10 points away from Daniel in true. But I actually disagree with the analytics part of this, and I actually think your team's a lot better than this shows.
Don't go coach baseball. Or don't go manage a baseball team, because analytics is the way to go. You're talking with your heart. That's not baseball. We're talking football. Coach with your heart, Clay. I should be number 1.
You made Andrew leave. Look what you did. I knew he was going to leave. I was looking at him for some help me out, and the only thing you could think of was to leave. Thank you, Andrew. That helped. Thank you for cutting that off there. I love you, man. The first 4 out of the playoffs. So if the playoffs started today,
Which
They don't.
these would be the teams that wouldn't make it. I'm going to run through these guys, be a little quick here. We're approaching our 30-minute mark. The one be over. Jonathan at 5-4, the closest to the playoff hunt, sitting in 5th place. He is number 3 in the breakdown score, 36-27. Number 4 in the coach, and tied at 3 in the true score. So technically, Jonathan should be placed higher above Joe, based off the analytics that were presented to you, but he's not. Next matchup, next person in the line would be number 6 seed, Tuna, 4-6, 4-5 in 6th place. Number 7 in the breakdown, he's 23-40. Number 1 in the coach, though, and that's because Tuna has like 5 players on IR on his bench. So, of course, he starts the best lineup every week because there isn't too many people on his bench. And he's number 6 in the true score at 15. Action Jacksons would have the 7th seed at 2-7, 7th place. Number 6 in breakdown, number 7 in coach, and number 7 in true score at 10. And finally, we have Dirty Randy's, whose season is probably over at this point. Expect the number 1 or 8 pick next year, bud. 2-7, 8th place. Number 8 in breakdown, number 8 in coach, and number 8 in true, with only 5 points. Breakdown, you only would have won 15 games if you put your highest lineup every single week that week against people. That's horrible. Boys, that's it. 31 minutes. That was a good little rundown. 2-minute drill. I think that was a good show. I went a little long in the analytics because I had to explain them, but did you like what I brought with the standings? Thank you, Joe.
That was great. No, I like that segment. That's good. That's good stuff.
Would have been right on time if Joe didn't have like a mental break.
Yeah. No, I know. I almost twice, too, because he had the one earlier, and then I tell you what. So, guys, man, love having you here.
Fireball out.
I love having our unofficial sponsor, Fireball. So, Joe. Yes, Joe.
Like, subscribe. Look at those guns. Look at those guns.
Thank you.
Subscribe.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 4 videos. They have had 35 views. We only have 6 subscribers. We have 1 video with 14 views. So if you like the video, just subscribe. Give us a chance. We'll get better with production. We want to do the best for you as we can. And we'll get better. We'd love to hear your feedback. Leave a comment. Tell us what you like, what you didn't like. Listen to the man. Up in my top right, top left, wherever it is you're viewing him. Like, subscribe. Joe, thanks for being here. My NFL Fantasy Football Player Association Union representative, Joe Lozier. Thanks for being a pleasure. Do you have any parting words?
Like, subscribe. Ladies
and gentlemen, that's it, Joe. My vice president of fantasy football operations is the other gentleman that has joined me tonight. His name is Andrew. Andrew, any last words? How do you like this setup? How do you like the show? How are you doing?
It's great.
That's outstanding. So let's get out of the show. Let's welcome in our unofficial sponsor, Fireball, as they serenade us out. Boys, great season. I cannot wait till we do the recap show Thursday or the preview show Thursday in the waiver wire. Good luck. You want to make some trades? Now's the week. The trade deadline is coming up. Tap it up. We have been your weekly recap. Thanks for watching us. I'm the Commish. These are my boys. Good luck and good night, Tucks.
Go Bucks. Woo!